Because it was 69.
Hey, Danielle,
You?
I guess we're gonna be all right.
Where's the resolution?
Sliding right along.
Slide it away.
We are ready. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Glasgow City Council meeting for this special called session. We're going to begin with our pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. To remain standing, Councilman Kirkpatrick will lead us in our invocation.
Let us pray. God, thank you for this community and for the opportunity to serve it. Grant us wisdom in our decisions, respect in our discussions, and unity in our purpose as we work for the good of all. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. And you can be seated. I will ask Clerk Cashin to call the roll.
Lowry. Here. Burris.
Here.
Bennell.
Present.
Wilkinson.
Here.
Neal.
Here.
Shoemaker.
Here.
Norris.
Here.
Trigg.
Here.
Kirkpatrick.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for everybody being here tonight. We have full attendance, a special call meeting, a little bit nasty the first part of the week, and slowly we're getting back to normal around here. Would like to, first of all, move forward. You got in your packet, actually it's been a week now, the proposed agenda for tonight. I would entertain a motion that we proceed using the agenda that you were given.
Motion, Lowry.
Okay, is there a second?
Second, Kirkpatrick.
Motion and second. Do we have any discussion? All right, with no discussion, all in favor of proceeding with the agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. All right, we're going to move on with the agenda as it was presented to you, which, first of all, says that we need to approve the minutes from our meeting back on January the 12th. I will entertain a motion that we do so.
Motion, Bennell.
Is there a second?
Second.
From Councilman Neal. Is there any discussion on the minutes as they were presented? There being none, I'll call the question. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The minutes are officially entered into the record from January the 12th. Let's see. As we get started, I just want to say a quick word because I can't get it off of my mind about how many thank yous that we need to send out to everybody in this room. The spirit of work effort around here in our community with the terrible snow-mageddon that we've been having going on here. Glasgow Street Department, Barren County Road Department, the State Highway Road Department, and the readiness of the Glasgow Police Department, the Glasgow Fire Department, the Barren County Sheriff Department and deputies, and KSP, and our area volunteer firemen. All those folks over at the 911 dispatch. There was a whole lot of, I guess, Uber driving going on, getting a lot of these folks to work, and there was a very well coordinated effort for that. Got to thank our Barren Metcalf EMS, all the nurses who had to trek into area hospitals and area nursing homes. You think of a snow day being, well, we can go easy, it's a snow day. No, the snow day requires a whole lot of extra work to get the kind of job that our residents are expecting. And I got to say a great big thank you to everybody. I'm looking back there at Jim McGowan and all of the street department folks. Nick's been in there. Everybody's been doing a tremendous job, and we just need to, I've gotten so many thank yous, so many nice telephone calls from people who are so appreciative of the extra work and the extra effort. And you know, if you ever sit in this chair, you'll know that people are a lot more prone to call and tell you what they didn't like than what they did. So I'm really tickled to have all the nice calls of the people of what they did like about the way that our city took care of this problem. So thank you to each and every one. It was a great show.
Stand, give them applause.
All right, here.
All right. Great job.
No question about
Thank
it. Everyone's different, too. All right, we have done that. We are going to move straight into some old business here as we get the meeting started. Rich?
This is the second reading of a ordinance of the City of Glasgow authorizing and providing for the issuance and sale of City of Glasgow water and sewer refunding revenue bonds. I'll be reading from a summary of this ordinance. Said ordinance authorizes $5 million subject to adjustment of the City of Glasgow, Kentucky Water and Sewer Refunding Revenue Bonds, Series 2026, dated the date of initial delivery thereof, for the purpose of providing funds to refund all or some of the maturities of the City of Glasgow Water and Sewer Revenue Bonds, Series 2013. This ordinance designates the depository of funds relating to the bonds. It reaffirms the creation of a sinking fund for the benefit of the bonds secured by the city's combined and consolidated waterworks and sewer system, a revenue fund, and a maintenance and operation fund. It establishes the security for the bonds, prescribes the method of payment of the principal of and interest on the bonds, and the conditions and restrictions for the future issuance of bonds, ranking on a parity with the bonds. It provides certain covenants of the city for the further protection of the owners of the bonds, and prescribes terms and conditions upon which bonds will be received for the purchase of the bonds. A copy of the full text of this ordinance is available for public inspection during regular business hours, Glasgow City Hall.
You have heard the second reading of this ordinance concerning the revenue bonds with respect to the water and sewer system. I will entertain a motion that we approve the second reading of this ordinance.
Motion, Kirkpatrick.
Okay, is there a second?
Second, Benel.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, which means we can have discussion. Is there discussion on the second reading of this ordinance? No discussion? I'll call the question. All in favor of approving this on second? I'm sorry, it is a roll call, isn't it? Excuse me. I need a roll call vote then. So Danielle, if you will.
Neal,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Benel,
Yes.
Wilkinson,
Yes.
Lowry,
Yes.
Trigg,
Yes.
Kirkpatrick,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Burris.
Yes.
Okay, unanimous. Thank you very much for your roll call vote. We'll move into some new business right now that we need to attend to, Rich.
Next couple of items are municipal orders appointing or reappointing to various boards or commissions. The first is an order of the mayor. Robert Oliver is hereby reappointed to the Glasgow Electric Plant Board of Directors. This appointment is a 4-year term expiring January 31, 2029.
All right, this is, you've heard this order. I would entertain a motion that we approve the order as a part of this meeting.
Motion.
Lowry.
Okay, second by Councilman Neal. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this appointment? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay.
Next item is a municipal order. On order of the mayor, Ernie Myers is hereby reappointed to serve as a member of the Renaissance Steering Committee. This appointment shall be a 2-year term expiring January 31, 2028.
All right, you've heard the municipal order reappointing Ernie Myers to the Renaissance Committee. First of all, we'll entertain a motion that we do so.
Motion, Kirkpatrick.
Is there a second?
Second, Benel.
Okay, all right. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this particular municipal order? There being none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. We have reappointed Ernie Myers to the Renaissance Steering Committee.
Next item is a municipal order amending municipal order number 2023-1055, the Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual. That whereas changes need to be made from time to time to clarify and update the manual, and whereas it is recommended that the City Council approve the changes listed in Exhibit A. Chapters being updated are 5.2 regarding health insurance and 6.1 regarding the holidays. Now, therefore, the City of Glasgow does hereby order that these changes be made to the Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual. A copy of the changes attached as Exhibit A shall be and hereby are adopted effective immediately.
You all had this information in your packet. Hopefully you've had a chance to go over it, and this is a municipal order, so I need a motion that we approve it.
Motion Norris.
Is there a second?
Second, Benel.
Okay. Motion and a second. Is there discussion on this particular order that changes the Policies and Procedure Manual? There being no discussion, we have a voice vote. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The order is approved.
Next item of new business is a resolution for the City of Glasgow to make application for a fiscal year 2026 personal protective equipment grant that is administered through the Kentucky Community and Technical Colleges system. Be it hereby resolved by the City of Glasgow that April Russell, the grant writer for the city, shall be and hereby is authorized and directed to make application on behalf of the city for a FY 2026 personal protective equipment grant administered through the Kentucky Community and Technical College system for an amount up to $7,000 for the purpose of acquiring, if received, 2 sets of turnout gear. This grant requires the City of Glasgow to be responsible for the upfront costs and then be reimbursed when the required documentation is submitted to the Fire Commission. Be it further resolved by the city that Mayor Royce is authorized and directed to execute all documents necessary to make this grant application.
You've heard the reading of this resolution. We always appreciate grants. Ms. Russell is going to go after it if we give her the go-ahead, which I would entertain a motion that we do so.
Motion.
From Councilman Neal, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Councilman Burris, any discussion on this resolution on the personal protective equipment grant that we're going to apply for? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign. If you oppose, the motion carries unanimously. Okay, Rich.
Next item is a resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Department of Transportation, United States of America, for federal transportation assistance authorized by the federal law cited in the caption. I'll be reading from a summary. This is a resolution that we adopt as a city every year so that we can receive federal funding assistance for our city transit system. This resolution authorizes the application process for the new fiscal year. It states that the city will assure that it will follow all federal laws and regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, the Rehabilitation Act, and labor laws when utilizing these federal funds. The resolution states that the city will commit its local share of funds to support the transit system and that the transit system will continue for a minimum of 5 years. This resolution authorizes Mayor Royce to sign all application and funding documents.
All right, you have heard the resolution. We're going to set it up again to continue with our Department of Transportation application, and you had this particular resolution in your packet as well, but at this point I will open it up for a motion to approve the resolution.
Motion, Lowry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Neal. Okay, we have a motion and a second, and we can now have discussion. If you're curious about this, Ms. Russell is here, and anybody else who wants to know about it, we can have a discussion. Not a discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The resolution carries. A wonderful program, and a lot of people take advantage of it for sure. Okay, Rich?
Next item is a resolution for the city to make application for a Transportation Alternatives Set-Aside grant from the Surface Transportation Black Grant for various city transportation projects. That whereas the Transportation Alternatives Set-Aside from the Surface Transportation Block Grant Program provides funding for a variety of transportation projects, such as pedestrian and bicycle facilities, construction of turnouts, lookout or overlooks, viewing areas, historic preservation and vegetative management, and the like. And whereas the city has projects that would fall within the parameters of the STBG funding, now therefore be it hereby resolved by the city that April Russell, grant writer for the city, shall be and hereby is authorized and directed to make application on the city's behalf for grant funding under this STBG program for a total project cost of $781,994.78. This is an 80-20 grant, meaning that the federal funding, if awarded, would be $596,156, and the city's match would be $149,039. Be it further resolved by the City of Glasgow that Mayor Royce is authorized and directed to make application and to sign any other documents necessary for this grant.
All right, you've heard the reading of this particular resolution going after this alternative transportation grant. Some big money here that we can put to good use. I will entertain a motion that we pass this on first reading.
Motion Norris.
Is there a second?
Second, Benel.
Okay, motion and a second. What about any discussion?
Mayor Royce, I just want to make sure in the caption on this that it refers to block grant
Yeah.
instead of black grant.
And then there was a misspelling in the bottom too. I caught, yep,
Right.
we'll take care of those.
Yeah,
Thank
very
you.
good. That's very good. Good catch, Councilman Bennell.
And Mayor, will this be an extension of the other grant we had for Ms. Russell? If you could answer, you know, we have bicycle project and all
Yeah.
of those going around. Is this a separate one? Or
This is on Scotty Drive. We actually, Brad received a grant to do the pre-engineering, so we've been working with them to get that far into it. And when the TAP grant became available, we decided to go after it to finish it. So this would stretch from Glenview to Columbia Avenue. And it'd be a multi-use path on Scotty Drive.
All right, other discussion?
Does that make sense?
Is it a sidewalk? Is it a bicycle path? Is it,
They call them multi-use paths now. They're a little bit wider and they're bicycle pedestrian.
Glenview to Columbia or?
Scotty Drive.
Scotty Drive, yeah.
Got it, yeah. Yeah,
down Scotty
right.
Drive to
So
Columbia?
Glenview to Columbia, which is the Scotty Drive road.
On the high school side?
Yes,
Right side. going
yes.
in.
I was trying to think about what the map showed, but yeah, it'll go on the high school side.
And this is on the road, right?
No,
It's gonna
there's a-
be-
There's a setback, but it'll go along the roadway. Usually there's about a 12-foot from edge of pavement where the sidewalk will go.
What about people driving on it?
Yeah, there's so if there's the pavement's here, it's about a foot, and then that's where it'll start, like a typical sidewalk.
The gap between the road and the trail.
Usually we leave a grassy strip so that it's not right against the road.
I'm talking about like Friday night games.
Oh, across it?
Yes, I'm sorry.
They should only be driving across it at the entrances, and where the entrances are will be built for that. They shouldn't
Will there
just-
be a fence or?
No, but people aren't supposed to drive across it.
I get it.
Yeah, I
People do
mean-
it for convenience,
Correct.
myself included.
Yeah, so they're not supposed to drive across it anyway. They should be driving across it at the entrance, and the entrances will be built for that.
You probably mentioned this, and I missed it. The funding, this funding, if you get this, and you said Brad, there's some funding from Brad.
There's already been funding for Brad, so we've already done the pre-design and stuff. So the way the federal grants, they like to see shovel-ready projects. This one isn't quite shovel-ready, but we've already done some pre-engineering, and so we've already knocked that out of the way, so that cut the cost down. So then this will complete the project.
Those two funds, basically, you're not having.
And our 20%, which will go into next year's budget, because these projects take several years.
That's what I was going to ask. Will that project be started in 2026? No? Okay.
And the design could possibly be. I mean, we've already essentially started the project, but if we receive the funding, we probably won't know until the fall or spring. And then we'll move on into design phase.
When you get a green light for grant money, do you have a certain time that it has to be spent for the project or no?
There's always a project, a grant date.
Like it has to be finalized or started, or both?
Both.
Gotcha.
You can't start a grant, you can't start the work on the grant until you receive a contract and we get it signed. Then once we sign it, we start with it, and then we have an end date. And if we don't meet that date, we have to ask for an extension.
Gotcha, thank you.
It takes quite a bit of time.
It does.
The TAP grant down here on Trojan Trail, how many years did that take?
Well, that one was a little different because we had the storm in the middle of it, but we just closed it out, and it started, I applied for that grant in 2015. The one we did from Carnation and Bowen, it took about 6 years. Federal money is slow. This one, like I said, this one's already been through the pre-design phase, so it'll be a little quicker. All your questions?
Other discussion? Okay, well, then I will, you've heard the discussion, and I will ask that you, if you're in favor of this, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The resolution is approved.
Next item is a resolution declaring certain personal works, Public Works Department property as surplus. That whereas the Glasgow Public Works Department possesses certain personal property which is more particularly described on Exhibit A, whereas the personal property is no longer needed by the department and the department has sufficient equipment available to meet the needs of the department, and whereas it would be suitable and consistent with the public interest for this personal property to be declared surplus and its disposition authorized according to law. Now therefore, in light of the foregoing, be hereby resolved by the city as follows. Section 1, pursuant to KRS 82.083, subparagraph 3, the following written determinations are made. The property to be surplused is the personal property more particularly described on Exhibit A attached hereto. The intended use of this property at the time of its acquisition was for the use and benefit of the Public Works Department and its operations. The reason why it is in the public interest to dispose of the personal property is due to the fact that there are other similar pieces of equipment within the department capable of meeting all the needs of the department and continuing to maintain and keep this personal property described on Exhibit A would be redundant. The method of disposition to be used shall be either be a transfer with or without consideration to another governmental agency or by any other means permitted by KRS 82.083, including but not limited to public auction, electronic auction, or sealed bids. Section 2, the property described in Exhibit A is declared surplus. Section 3, the property shall be disposed of by transferring with or without consideration, compensation, to another governmental agency, or by any other means authorized by KRS 82.083, including but not limited to public auction, electronic auction, or sealed bids. Section 4, Mayor Royce is hereby authorized and directed to take any and all action necessary in order to carry out the actions contemplated herein.
You've heard the reading of this particular resolution, the surplusing of some property, and then the disposition of it. I will, first of all, entertain a motion that we approve this.
Motion, Patrick.
Okay, is there a second?
Second, Lowry.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion about this particular resolution?
You say sealed bid, or is that how they do this?
Yeah, you can do it 3 different ways. I don't know which. Okay, you can do it by public auction or electronically or by the
I
sealed
didn't know
bids.
if they decided how that was going to be done.
Yeah.
And that is advertised paper or website, which one?
Well, yeah, depends part of
advertised
it
in the
depends on
paper.
the way, yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the way that we decide to do it, and I don't know that we've determined that just yet. So, but it'll be advertised in the paper.
The Department of Public Works, they take care of their equipment, and I mean, when they've said we're done with it, they've taken care of it to the point that, it's ready to be surplus. So I'm not sure what y'all will do, Jim, but I'm sure you'll have plenty of interest in it if we approve this resolution, which I will call the question on right now. All those in favor of approving this indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The equipment is now surplused officially. We're doing a lot of nuts and bolts here, but let's get to some exciting things to talk about here. I ask David Peterson, our guest tonight, to be shifted down the agenda a bit because we've got some bond work to do a bit later on with regarding to a new industry. But we want to have David Peterson here tonight because he's here wearing his hat as being the chairman of the Barren County Economic Authority. And David is here to speak about some really good things that have been coming along with Tate Industries. And David is the chairman of the Barren County Economic Authority. He's also, in his day job, he is the chairman of the Caveland Environmental Authority. So he's got some chairman things to take care of here. David, we'd love to hear what you have to say, sir.
All right, Mayor. The mayor called me and invited me down here and giving you good news about 400 jobs. I didn't figure you would eat me or anything like that or chew me up and spit me out. But
No.
First of all, before I get started, I want to thank each one of you for being the council and the mayor to represent the city. I know you don't get it a lot, but you're taken away from your families and stuff, and you're trying to do what's best for all the citizens of Glasgow. So I know we talked about cleaning the ice and stuff, but I appreciate what y'all do on a day-to-day basis trying to run the city because it's not an easy task. I know how it is running a utility, so I do appreciate what you do. Exciting news. We're getting 400 jobs. That is awesome. Not only are we filling a building that's been sitting empty for a long time, what we don't realize is we're putting electric back in that building. So EPB is going to be able to sell electricity. Glasgow Water is going to get water and sewer. Your gas, Atmix Gas, is going to be able to sell gas. Not only does that help recruit industries, but that helps their everyday customers on these utilities because they're able to get revenue out of that building that they hadn't been able to get in over how many years that it's sit empty. So that's exciting that we got that coming to town. They're already advertising for jobs. They've done hired their general manager. He's done looking to move into the house. I think he's looked at a house. I don't know if he's closed on it or not, but I know he's done joined the YMCA with his family. So they are already getting involved. And I think there's like 15 jobs or so that's been advertised that you can go to the website, the Tate website, and see that. And it's just exciting news for Glasgow that we finally are getting these jobs in here. And you stop and think, driving by and seeing that parking lot full. Man, that's going to be awesome, seeing the cars go in and out. Families have jobs now that are able to support their families, you know, in Glasgow. So that's the great thing, that we're able to keep the people here in Glasgow. They can get their jobs here and support that. So I get excited about Tate. You know, and we got other industries that are coming and looking, and, you know, it's just, I'd like to tell one story. We had an industry come in. It was 3 gentlemen. We were sitting in a restaurant, and the gentleman sat there, and one of the gentlemen asked the waitress, so what do you like about this area? Well, my heart stopped a little because I didn't know how it was going to go. But she did awesome. She said, oh, they got great schools. Said, my kids go, and she's talking about that and said, they got great schools. Said, really excited about them. They're putting in a new aquatic park with swimming pools and stuff that we're going to be able to take the kids to, you know. And she went through the restaurants, and she went about Mammoth Cave, Barren River Lake, you know, and I said, yes. So, you know, we got to get excited about Barren County, Glasgow, and Cave City, you know, and Park City, you know, we got to bring more industry in, and that's what we got to fight for. And that's what Marine Carpenter is doing right now. She's actually, I don't know which country she's in right now, but she's meeting with an industry she sent an RFQ to. And so they are meeting, I think, today or tomorrow. So because we've got about 3 or 4 lots left in our industrial site out there that we need to fill. And we need to fill the buildings with jobs. And so we got the powder coating company coming, and we got Bluegrass Dairy expanding that building for their main distribution hub. But we also have a lot of great industries already here. And we cannot, you know, we got to represent them too. And, you know, getting jobs. So we've got to promote people to want to go and get these jobs. We bring them in here, we've got to promote now and get people in these jobs. And what's so great about Tate, I don't know if you've thought about this, but the kind of jobs that they're going to looking for, you've got a source coming out of high schools, coming out of the Kentucky Tech, I mean, that are going to be able to walk into these jobs, and, you know, coming out of high school, you know, making between $25 and $30 an hour. That's great. I mean, that's a way a livable wage. So, you know, it's great for our kids. And I have a 15-year-old, believe it or not. And when she graduates in about 3.5 years and goes off to college, I want her to be able to come back. I'm selfish. I want her to come back so I can see them grandbabies, you know, when you know, and that's what we're out here trying to do and promote. Maureen Carpenter does an outstanding job. She is great. She is, you know, she is a top-notch person, recruiter. She's a cheerleader for our cities and counties, and she does a great job. And the industries just love her when they start talking to her, and Henry's noticed that, or Mayor, I'm sorry, I brought you down there. But
I answered anything.
Yes, but with the mayor, you know, being in meetings and stuff with her, she does a great job. And I can't thank you enough for partnering with Barren County, you know, for economic development growth. And it's just exciting times in Glasgow and Barren County. And I'll answer any questions.
I appreciate your words, David, because, and I do want to throw in here, you know, I am on that board, and I do come to the meetings that you're in charge of. So what happens good with the Barren County Economic Authority has to happen with the person at the top, a good chairperson, and yes, Maureen is the treasurer. But there's got to be somebody driving the train, and David does a great job at that, and we've got a really good, you know, and Terry Bunnell, Councilman Bunnell is on that committee with me, and it's just so wonderful to see good things happening.
We have a great board, all around, very good board. A lot of knowledge sitting around that board table.
All right. If there's any questions for David, he's got good answers. But we're going to segue into a resolution that you're going to see. Just you listen to this resolution and you're going to see the reason for this is, I'll just say it, I'm going to ad-lib here. Tate likes this community even better than what they thought they did, which is what our next item of business is all about. So, David, I'm going to let Rich read the resolution.
Mayor, before I read I'll be reading from a summary, but I thought for the benefit of the council and anyone listening or watching tonight, I thought I would just give you a little background here. So the first resolution that the council adopted on October the 27th of last year for Tate Floors was what we call an inducement resolution. It was needed to encourage Tate Floors to locate the manufacturing facility in Glasgow and to allow them to start spending money on the project. Inducement resolutions are adopted to provide assurance to the company that if they spend the money, the city will authorize the issuance of those bonds. The inducement resolution is also needed for the company's application to the Cabinet for Economic Development in order to start the approval process for the state incentives. What you are going to consider tonight on the agenda is a resolution that actually approves those bonds. It is called an authorizing resolution. So this is a two-step process: the inducement resolution that you did in October of last year, and then tonight the authorizing resolution. And then the second thing I wanted to mention that you may have had a question about was when we did the inducement resolution, the amount was a $75 million bond cap. The authorizing resolution tonight was increased to an $85 million bond cap. And I've been informed by Tate's counsel that that Tate anticipates its current estimated investment to exceed the originally requested $75 million. That increase is primarily driven by additional machinery and equipment for the site. So that is the reason for the requested increase, but it doesn't impact, it has zero impact on the city in terms of the bond issuance. So I thought that background might be helpful before we entertain this resolution. So this is a resolution that authorizes the city to issue its industrial revenue bonds in one or more series and/or denominations in an aggregate amount not to exceed $85 million. The purpose of the bond issuance is for defraying the costs of acquiring, constructing, and equipping an industrial building facility, which terms include land, buildings, fixtures, and equipment for any activity, business, or industry for the manufacturing, processing, or assembling of any commercial product as defined by Kentucky Revised Statutes, and promoting the economic development of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, including the city. The proceeds of the bonds will be used by the city for the purpose of financing the acquisition, construction, improvement, and equipping of this manufacturing facility within the definition of the law. The payment of and/or accrued interest, if any, and the payment of any costs of issuance not otherwise paid by the lessee bondholder. The lessee is Tate Access Floors, Inc. The real and personal property will be leased to Tate Access Floors or its affiliates. The bonds are to be retired solely from the proceeds of the lease agreement by and between Tate and the city. The resolution provides that the bonds shall not constitute an indebtedness of the city.
All right, so this is for real. And you hear the particulars with this first reading of this resolution. And first things first, I will entertain a motion that we approve this resolution as it was presented by City Attorney Alexander.
Motion, Benel.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
From Councilman Neal. So with a motion and a second, we can open it up for discussion. Who has questions about this proceeding?
I have a question, Mayor. Just in dumbing it down in my terms, I guess, maybe somebody else's, but mainly mine. This inducement resolution back in October is kind of like we'd say, this is what we'll do if you locate here. And then today what we're doing, since they decided to locate here, is we're putting our stamp of approval on it. Is that right?
Yeah, that's basically it. But they also are saying, you know, we want to do this right, so we're actually going to bond a little bit more so we can do it the way we feel like we're going to need to do it.
So I'm probably going to get lost here. Wouldn't that inducement resolution be void since there was a 75 million cap on it?
No, the inducement resolution is, you kind of summarized it. I kind of take it as we were courting them. We were in a dating relationship.
Yeah.
But they were saying, hey, we're interested in coming here. We think the project is going to be $75 million. Would you all entertain that if we come here? And we said yes, and they came here, and then they got into it and determined that it was going to cost a little bit more. That, it's not necessarily void. That's just sort of the preliminary stage. And then this one increases it by $10 million, and it is
It's like we're putting like a stamp of approval on it
Yeah.
and saying we're doing what
Same.
we said we're going to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Other discussion? All right. Go ahead.
Just say that, you know, everybody, you know, that's all I heard trying to campaign was manufacturers' jobs. So hats off to the Economic Board and everyone here that's on that and who's played a part in that. Of course, I'm voting on something to bond $85 million. I know that the city's not indebted to that. It's not, but our name's still on the bond, correct? The city's
Yes.
name
Yeah.
is on the bond,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you kind of makes you think a little bit that, you know, you're putting the city's name out there for that. And we still also incentivize those folks, didn't we, with a 1% occupancy? Is this, you know, it sounds like again, I'm not in that, but it sounds like a pretty good deal, but maybe it's not. Maybe, is that kind of the way it works, or?
That's the way it works. And what you got to think about, we're not just in Kentucky. We're competing with South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Oklahoma. And so you have to go after these industries, and they look at what is best for them as a manufacturer. So,
And I'm not trying to be negative at all. I'm tickled to death for this because this is what people want.
Yes.
But you hit on something that I want us to call us to remember are the folks that have been here, and whatever, if there's anything we can do to, you know, the manufacturers have been here 10, 15 years. I don't want to leave a sour taste in somebody's mouth, you know.
And we don't, we
so-
work
so-
with them, we help them in a lot of ways, so, yeah.
And even the small business, I know there's not much, you know, they can't jump in on some of this bonding, but I assume the opportunity, the cost, because you're bringing more people in, should trickle down to the smaller businesses also,
Yes.
hopefully. But, you know, again, I'm all for this, I'm positive about it, but it does kind of, anytime 85 million, that's a lot of money, put your name, it's you're part of a council that you're putting the city's name on, so that's all I'll say.
All right. Any other discussion?
Was there a term limit on the bond? Or is there not a term limit on a bond?
They'll be issued for 10 years.
Yeah. I'm not sure on the amortization on that, but I can get that information for you.
Somebody else looked like they wanted to say something. That was her. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Well, with no more discussion, we'll call the question. All of those in favor of passing this resolution with the industrial building revenue bonds with Tate indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. It is unanimous. Thank you very much for listening. There's a lot of stuff to understand and to digest. And David, we really appreciate you being here to bring us the good news and to make us even feel better about it, sir.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time here. Let's see. What I want to do next is to move forward right here. I've got one announcement about an event coming up at the Plaza Theater that you want to know about. The historic Plaza Theater on February the 7th at 7 o'clock is going to have a big show. It's going to feature, now get this, Nathan Chester and the Old Souls Motown Revival. Nathan was on season 25 of The Voice. He made it to the final 5. That's very impressive. Please come support our Plaza Theater. You can get your tickets tonight online at historicplaza.org, or you can buy them at the window. It's going to be a family night. Everybody tells me that Nathan Chester, and I know Elizabeth's on the board at the Plaza, it's really being talked up. This guy apparently is really good. Is that what they're telling you?
Yes, you can get on YouTube and look at him. He's really good.
Okay, so why don't we just, but it would be nothing like coming to the Plaza to see him, would it? So let's get those tickets in there, and let's try to have a good crowd over there. February the 7th is coming right upon us, and it's going to be at 7 o'clock, so look forward to that. All right, lots of information passed along right here. Danielle, did I miss something?
I think we're good.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll entertain a motion then that we adjourn this special called meeting of the Glasgow City Council.
Motion.
From Councilman Neal, is there a second?
Second.
From Councilman Burris, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you for being here.